Would you pay $6,000 a year for a dating app? Tinder on Friday announced a new subscription plan called Tinder Select, an invite only membership offered to less than 1% of users. Applicants that are accepted can unlock exclusive perks like easily access to new features and a virtual badge of $499 per month, according to Bloomberg. The app's fourth paid tier option, joining Tinder Plus, Tinder Gold, and Tinder Platinum. The new permit is going to have a relatively tiny amount of new payers, but a significant impact on revenue per payer. So here's basically what's happening. Nobody is hooking up on Tinder because it's just swipe.
Yeah, and saturated.
Yeah, it's saturated. And then what happens is when you get, are you enjoying Tinder? And people say, there's guys that, because let's face it, guys are going to pay. Women aren't going to pay. Right?
Absolutely.
So girls are saying, well, there's not guys, there's no guys, quality guys on here, blah, blah, blah. But here's the problem, though. The 1% of guys that you want to put on there don't need to pay for Tinder. They're literally tripping over women. So this is like, again, this is a smaller version of the Bud Light thing where the marketing team, I guarantee, are women, and they don't understand how men operate. If men are the top 1%, making 1% of the money and are handsome and whatnot, two things. One, they're already taken. And two, if they're single, they don't need Tinder. They're tripping over women, right? This is gonna fail. Tinder, and here's the thing with dating apps. Dating apps for men only really work if you're really good looking, because that's really all you're going on, right? That's really all you're going on. You just go. Dating apps don't give a guy a chance to actually be personable and charm you and have charisma. It's all about how you look. And
absolutely.
I'm pretty sure the stat, you're gonna have to correct me, but the stat is the women on dating apps, and I think Tinder specifically, they only think about 5% of men on the dating apps are attractive, where the men think 60% of the women are attractive. Yeah.
Absolutely. I can't tell you. I deleted the app. I gave up. It was so pointless. I can't tell you how many times. I mean, I know what swiping left is. Like, it's annoying how much you have to skip it.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's not going to work because even here's the thing. Even if you're a guy who's really desperate and you cough up the money, right? Sooner or later, that girl is going to figure out that you're not really 1%, right? Because
they say it takes 3 months.
What do you mean?
It takes 3 months for you to show your real character. You can put up a facade for about 3 months before you get comfortable enough for this person to not like see who you really are. It takes 3 months.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's the standard. Usually people are back. I think I read a while back, their rating on Tinder was people would usually return back to their app within 3 to 4 months.
Listen,
just because they couldn't make it work.
I think at the beginning of the apps were probably a good idea. But it was probably good for people who like maybe were single mothers or divorced men or both, and they don't really go out much. But now what's happening is it's just becoming like it's so, like you said, oversaturated that the selection of person, and women are a hell of a lot more selective than men. Men will fuck anything, right? And women are nope. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's ridiculous. Do you ever hear a woman's, like when you ask a woman what she wants in a man, what she looks for, and it's the over 6 foot tall, has to make over $100,000 a year, must be a good looking. Do you know what the percentage of men that are over 6 foot tall in North America is? In North America, 15%. Yeah, men over 6'2" is like, now you're down to like 5%. And now you want a guy who's good looking, in shape, and makes over 6 figures on top of that. Like, you're literally down to 1% of the population.
And then you have to. Those odds are, increasingly.
Because you got to take out the guys who are married, and then you got to take out the gay guys, right? You're literally down.
You have to take out the married ones, though.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the women. Yeah, exactly. Yes. All right, let's do one more article because I have. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Good. Say what you're gonna say.
No, sorry. I have ADHD like a motherfucker. So, my apologies. But with that whole like paying for that upgrade though, they already have an app called Raya that does it. So basically, it's you have to make a certain amount of money. You have to be of certain stature, and basically, like you have to be on that like that 1%, and it's free. Why would
Really?
anybody pay $500 a month for Tinder when you have Raya and it's an acceptance program and everything? I mean, you could take 3 months to get accepted into this program or into this like site, and so it makes absolutely no sense why you'd pay $500 every month for Tinder when that's free.
Yeah.
And probably more like like mulled over and like you make sure these people are of higher stature. It's for like celebrities,
Yeah.
basically.
What I don't get is like what those people don't need help, and you're trying to market to people that screw the articles. We'll just talk, and I'll make this 2 separate videos because you're actually pretty good at this. The problem is that those people don't need help. If you're a celebrity, if you're a dude, you don't really need any help, especially if you're handsome. I mean, it's just not. Even the ugly celebrities don't need help.
Because they have money.
Yeah, exactly. They have money. They have status, and even if like okay, like let's say I'm single, right, and I meet a girl from Minnesota, and I make and here's the problem that social media plays, not dating apps, but just social media in general. And this is one of the problems that leads into dating for regular guys or younger guys who don't make much money. Like, let's say I'm single and I meet you, right, on Instagram, and we start talking and I make the money that I make. And I say, hey, why don't you come to New York for the weekend? And you've never been to New York. And I go, yeah, I'll pay for a hotel. No big deal. Right. And then you jump on it because you've never been to New York and it's exciting. You're like, oh yeah, okay, great. How many guys from Minnesota who are your age could actually pull something like that off? Most guys in their 20s are just getting started in life. They don't have much money. The majority of guys that in their career make money after the age of 35, right? Because you have to build your career. It doesn't happen overnight unless you're one of these, we're talking, the regular dude, unless you're one of these,
silver spoon.
Yeah, silver spoons, or one of the guys like the overnight successes that never really last anyway, like the social media guys and whatnot. But for the large majority, I mean 95% of the guys, I mean 95% of guys under 30 can't do that. So what happens is the attractive girls in the areas like the small towns in Minnesota or Virginia or wherever, they can go to Miami and New York, LA, so on and so forth, and be picked up, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, I've been flown out several times. I mean, I've gone to Vegas, I've gone to Miami, I'm going to LA this weekend, or next weekend. We have more opportunities elsewhere, and that's usually the case anywhere you live, though. Honestly, like you're gonna see that group of men, and like I can't tell you on one hand how many men I know that have a good amount of money to be able to fly a woman out.
Yeah,
and I know quite a few men.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, because you're a pretty girl, because you're a young, attractive woman on Instagram, you have access to these guys, right? But the large majority of guys don't have that kind of money and status. And when I mean most, I'm talking 90%, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm talking
even generous.
Yeah, right, exactly. They don't have it, but you're in that world. So if you don't mind me asking, what they fly exactly, if you don't mind me getting into what they actually fly you out for?
Most of them honestly is just to have a date to something. I've been flown out for just having a date to like a political event. I've been flown out for, I mean, you name it, like a football game or a basketball game, like just to have somebody on their arm to be pictured with. Yeah.
Wow. That's
It's
anybody
that simple.
famous or just people that are just well-to-do?
Just well-to-do. I haven't really, gotten into the whole famous people yet. And I don't think I really want to. It's not really my gimmick. I just like, a little wealthier and, just need somebody on their arm.
That's yeah. It's making it so two things that's happening is it's making it very difficult for young guys. And it's also making it difficult for young guys who want to build a relationship and have a family, because attractive girls, or even girls that are average looking to attractive, don't have to wait to, the majority of them don't have to wait to build. They want to walk right into success. So a lot of them will date guys over 35. But the thing is, there's only a very few of those guys, So because you were flown out that week, that same guy flew somebody else out the next week.
Absolutely, yeah. And I guess like for me, I don't really mind it. It's not that I grow an attachment towards these men. It's just really like, I get something, I get the adventure out of it. I get to, enjoy my life a little differently than I would have prior.
Right.
And they get, the excitement of a new girl every weekend.
Right.
It doesn't give me, it's
no
big deal to me what I do.
You become callous to it. You've never had like an emotional attachment.
I've only ever been in love one time in my life, and I think that kind of ruined the idea of love for me. I mean, not ruined. I do foresee, in the future, hopefully, but it's not really something that I seek out often, nor do I really attach feelings to most relationships that I've had. It's kind of more of like a business transaction in a sense, in my eyes. Even if I've had many men, unfortunately, fall differently, and they definitely have had feelings. And I mean, I have 2 restraining orders, so
wow,
it can be a lot different. But I mean, women attach emotionally, so when a woman doesn't, I think it's more appealing, or more of that chase that men seem to like.
Yeah, well, that's what a lot of men like the chase. It's more fulfilling because men's hunting instinct and men's sexual instinct are intertwined greatly, right? So that's why when a man meets a girl and has a conquest, if you will, it's a lot more fulfilling than paying somebody just that, like a prostitute or a call girl, just to have sex with you. It's a lot more fulfilling. It's like, because you've conquered something. It's a hunt, and that's one of the reasons why men find certain colors attractive. Like red is very attractive to a man, right? Because a woman's red lips, a woman blush, right? Because for 2 reasons. One, if you went hunting and you got a kill, there was blood. And then ripe fruit, most ripe fruit is also red. So it intertwines greatly. But do you think that is actually do you think that it would actually hinder a relationship in your future, since you are callous to, since you're callous to emotion now?
To an extent, yes. But in my head, I've already developed what I like seek out in a man that I know I would have feelings for, and I haven't quite found it. I more so look for a man that like basically like demands that I get out of like the lifestyle that I'm in, and that demands my attention. Essentially, a lot of these men ask for my attention, or they'll slightly imply they want my attention, but they don't demand my attention.
Unpack that. What do you mean by demand it?
That that they demand basically that the only man in my life that I like basically take charge. I think I need a man that takes charge, and I tend to take charge 9 times out of 10. I mean, yes, these men fly me out and do these things, but like that's on my own accord. I get to say yes. I have most control in my life, and I think for somebody to get into and get past that wall, I need a man that takes charge, and I just haven't found a man that takes charge. So by demanding my attention, they're taking charge.
But when you say a man taking charge, right? So that means a man is going to want to date you seriously, right? Take you on a serious date, and then he's going to want you to be his and only his.
Yep.
And are you ready to do that, to be one man's woman? Because what do you mean by that? No, it's okay. So what are the standards?
Well, I have to be somebody that can. I mean, I hate to say this because like I've already made my amount of money, and I've done my thing, and I want to like continue like having a business, maybe not this business, but I ideally want a man that can take care of me.
So in order for you to submit to a man and give up your adult content, what are the standards?
It has to be a man that can take care of me.
So
that wants to take care of me.
Give me okay. So you want a leader, right?
Yeah. Essentially, yep.
How much money do you think he has to make?
I mean, to fit my lifestyle, at least $500,000.
So 500,000. Okay. So half a million dollars. Yeah, obviously a man who makes that kind of money is probably going to have leadership qualities. And does he have to be good looking?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think personality does have a lot to do with a man.
But does he have to be? I mean, you're not going to want a fat, smelly guy, right?
No. So, he has to be relatively attractive.
So he has to at least
have some qualities that I like.
So he's got to be somewhat good looking, average to above average good looking, right?
I would say average. I would put the standard at average. I don't mind an average looking guy.
Okay.
They tend to be a little more humble and kind.
What about height?
Height doesn't really matter to me.
Would you date a guy shorter than you? Would you be with a guy shorter than you? Shorter than 5'5"? Shorter than 5'5". Okay.
No.
All right.
That one I couldn't do. I'm good with my height. Like my ex-boyfriend actually is my height, and I think it was just fine.
So 5'5" or better.
Yeah.
Okay. What
Any
age?
Shorter, I think.
What age bracket are you looking for?
I would about 35 and older.
35.
I would put the cap at like 45. I would say within the
35 to 45. Okay.
Because I do think my emotional intelligence is a little bit higher than a 26-year-old, and I'd like to think that, I mean, my head is much older than my age. So.
All right. So you ready for the truth? Because this isn't going to be good.
That's okay.
You want a man who makes $500,000 or more between the ages of 35 and 45, relatively tall. He can't be short. And he has to have average or above average good looks. Right. And you want, and that is the only way that you would submit and give up your adult content for somebody.
Absolutely.
If he is making that kind of money and he has all these qualities that you're looking for, do you think he has a difficulty meeting women?
I guess it depends, but probably.
No. Do you think he probably doesn't, right? Doesn't. So what do you, in order for a man like that, what do you bring to the table? Because now you already have the adult content. That's one strike against you. Because in order for a guy to wife you, not have sex with you, it's two different things. Okay, that's gonna be a strike. What else do you have to bring to the table that he would be like, all right, this is the woman that I want to be the mother of my children?
Well, I mean, for starters, I don't have children, so that's already a good strike in my, or not. It's a good, check mark, because a lot of women my age and younger, if that's what they're going for, have multiple children, and women older than me obviously probably have children. So I don't have any children. I'm fantastic in the business area. I've studied in business, in finance, etc. So I've been very, business savvy. I bring a lot of ideas to the table, and I've started my own businesses, and they have been very lucrative. And I am self-sufficient on my own as well. And I mean, as an Italian woman, I can cook and clean. And I do make a very good, homemaker. Essentially, I do bring a very good feel to any home I'm in.
Okay. Do you think a man who makes $500,000 a year needs somebody who's good in business? Because I would say he's probably already good in business.
Yeah, but I mean, what's wrong with two heads? Two heads are always better than one. Because
a leader is not going to want a partner. That kind of man wants a wife, not a partner. So you can get rid of the business.
Isn't that what they are?
Yeah. You can get rid of a partner. No, a partner means equal. And if he's making $500,000 and you want him to be a leader, you're already putting you in the lesser than the two. Okay. So business is out. If he's making $500,000 a year, it doesn't matter if you're self-sufficient or not. Okay, because he's going to be able to do everything for you. He's going to be able to provide everything for you. So your self-sufficiency doesn't matter to him. Right?
Okay.
So you have a good maternal instincts, cooking and cleaning. If a man's making $500,000 a year, does he have to worry about somebody cooking and cleaning, or does he pay somebody to do that already?
I mean, I feel like most men that are intelligent enough with their money usually like to save that money, and if you have somebody that can do it for free.
But if you're making $500,000 a year, let's say because that's minimum that what you want, right? You think so? He could, because I have a cleaning lady, and I pay her $100 every 2 weeks. So cleaning, really cleaning's out, right? Okay. You don't need somebody to clean. Okay. So you're down to I'll give you cooking and good maternal instincts. Anything else you want to throw in there?
I mean, it was the no kids too. But...
No kids. Okay. That's big. That's big. No kids. Okay.
Okay. I am very willing to do, like a lot of men like to watch sports or do things that they enjoy. And I love to learn more about things that my partner or my husband or boyfriend essentially is into, because, I like to share certain interests. And if I'm into it as well, I like to experience that with somebody.
Okay. So a person who will be into what he's into, be into what he, right.
Be willing to be into it.
Whatever he's into, you're into.
I'd be willing to get into.
To adapt. Yeah. So if he's like boxing or football or whatever, you're very, okay.
I do already watch boxing.
I'll also give you this one. You're not combative, which is good. I'll give you not combative. So your list is down to maternal instincts, cooking, no kids, and you're not combative, and you'll basically follow whatever lead as far as interests that he has.
Right? Follow the lead in general. I would say in general, I would follow the lead.
Okay. And you're 26. When are you going to be 27?
In March. So I've It's November. It's 4 months.
And you have many vids and OnlyFans.
I do.
Right.
Yep.
Do you think the man that you described can find a girl with these qualities without many vids and OnlyFans?
I think it's slim pickings, but potentially. You don't think so? Without a kid? Do you know this, like the actual statistic for women that have kids is
in
nowadays?
In the States?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, you got me there. Sheesh. Okay, you got me there.
In the States, because a man of that kind of means doesn't have to date in the States.
That's true. Yep, that's what you got me. You got me.
All right.
I don't know that statistic.
So basically, the man that you described that you want is going to be next to impossible to get.
That's okay.
You know,
here, a lot of crazy things that happen.
But I'll give you some help. All right. If you get rid of the money thing, okay, get rid of 500,000. If you meet a guy that makes 80K a year, and you're willing to continue doing doggy daycare, how much do you make at doggy daycare? If you don't mind me asking.
A year, I make about, because I'm an animal care technician, I think my annual gross income is about 50.
Okay, so that's 50. So let's say you meet a guy who's got 80K. That's $130,000 a year in Minnesota, which probably goes pretty far in Minnesota, not in New York. Okay, that's not going to go far in New York because I make close to 150 in New York, and my wife still works, and we don't have kids. But you're talking about 130K, right, in Minnesota. You don't care about height, which is pretty good and average looking at best. That's somebody you could very easily find, because that's somebody, if you bring those now, things like maternal instincts, cooking, cleaning, you don't have kids, you're not combative, you're willing to adjust and let him lead. That's somebody you could find, and you would make a man very, very happy, extremely happy. And that kind of man and that kind of means, in that kind of, the average salary for a man in America is between 50 and 60,000. So if you find a guy between 80 and 100,000, right, at 35 years old, because you're 26, and is average looking, and you treat him like a man, you could very well have a very happy life, a very fulfilling life. You might not be driving Mercedes Benzes. You might have to drive a Camry, but you'll have a beautiful family and a nice house. And here's the other thing. Do this, okay, when you're with a man. Here's what men don't get anymore from women, and I'm going to give you tips about things that women don't do that you can do to get a man that can be a leader and makes decent money. Nurturing him. So, for example, he's running late, and he needs a shirt ironed. You just instinctually go and iron his shirt. He wakes up in the morning to go to work because he's got to get up early. His coffee is already made for him, right? Mm-hmm. He gets sick. You're at his bedside, right?
Mm-hmm.
He decides that he wants to try something, a new a new endeavor, a new business, a new something. You become his helpmate, not his partner.
Okay.
Right? Because being helpful and supportive, right? And helping him build it, not having to walk into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are all traits that women don't do anymore. These are also traits that say to a man, this person would be a good mother because she's very caring and compassionate and nurturing. This person would pick my kids up at school. This person would take care of my kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you would possibly you could probably very easily find somebody like that that would give you a nice, happy life. Happiness doesn't necessarily come from having a lot of money.
I know. And
You know,
you said all that stuff. I actually am very good at that. I mean, I've spoke about my roommate. I'm very preemptive in a lot of stuff for him, and that's just out of friendship.
well, that yeah,
I mean,
yeah. That see those are
it's
that
I have those instincts. That's what I'm
yeah.
saying.
The roommate thing is going to be a big problem. That's going to be a problem. See that is going to be that's going to be a no. That's going to be a no go for most guys. The fact
And
that you
that's
have
only temporary. Like
yeah,
this is
well, you'd have to, most guys are going to be like, because the only type of guy that's going to deal with a girl who has a roommate, a guy roommate that doesn't have, that you don't have sex with, never mind have sex with, is going to be a shell of a human being. He's going to be a type of guy
yeah.
that is going to be the type of guy that either just wants to bang you and convinces you that he's interested, but he just wants to have sex with you, right? Or he's
Yeah.
going to be a person that is not good with women, is not good with socializing, doesn't have protective or leadership qualities, and whatever girl comes his way, he's doing whatever it takes to keep her, which is the biggest turnoff to most women.
Oh, it's horrible. And this is the biggest
Horrible,
ick.
horrible, 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 horrible. So, these are. I think this was. I'm gonna make this two things. I'm gonna do the news, and then I'm gonna do this. Right. I might cut.
Yeah.
I might cut you out of the news completely and just do, because this was really good. This was really really good.
Okay.
Um, this is where, see, because you have been around men that have made a lot of money and have the ability to fly you out and do things like that. It kind of taints the regular guy, for you. The
It
regular guy
does.
the guy that says, "Hey, look, I want to take you to the movies, or I want to, let's go bowling, or let's go to the park," or something like that. And your attitude is, I just went to a Giants game in New York City, or I went to a Dolphins game in Miami. I was on this guy's yacht. You want to take me to the movies? But the guy on the yacht just wants to bang you and send you home. The guy that takes you to the movies wants to wife you.
See, and this is where I'm gonna take that. But I actually don't mind that. I actually just not too long ago had a date where we got slushies from the little 7-Eleven.
Good.
And we went and we watched these boats go by on this little lake, and it was fun. I had a great time. We had great
Good.
conversation. We walked around. We just literally got slushies, 79-cent slushies, and hung out. And it was the best time I've had in a very long time because it was a breath of fresh air.
Good.
Yes, those, Giants games, or, going to a basketball game or whatever it may be are fun, and I've had a blast. I know what I'm doing and why I'm there. It gets tiring after a while. It gets tiring just being a pretty face, or, an arm in
Jolene,
the
Jolene, come here. Somebody joined us. Come here, Jolene.
Ooh.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. I don't know if you
I
can
see
see
the
it.
pretty face.
Come here. Look up. Look up. Look up. Look up.
Oh, hello, pretty girl. She like that.
She was
Here we go.
just sleeping. She's only 9 months old, and
Oh, she's huge.
yeah, she's 9 months old, and she's a
Look
Cane
at
Corso.
you.
Yeah, her name is
Yeah.
Jolene, and the other one is
Jolene, she's gorgeous.
uh,
You have another one?
I do. He's at work with my wife. My wife put him to work. I put him on my Instagram. You could see it. She sent me a picture of him.
Speaking of, I actually have mine. Timber.
Oh, he's great. Look at that.
Oh man. Yeah, he's a goofball. Big ham.
Yeah, yeah.
He got up because I was talking like I was talking to him.
Yeah. See, one of the problems young women have is that they're too concerned with what men could provide for them in a relationship, and they're not concerned enough for what they could provide for a man. And what they could provide for a man is basically, be loving and nurturing and caring. And the majority of men, if you're loving, nurturing, and caring, and basically stay attractive, and even guys whose wives who fall out of being attractive, they're still not going to, they're not going to leave you. If you're loving, nurturing, and caring, most guys will want their wives to raise their children. And here's another good thing that a lot of women don't know or don't realize. And it's because when you're in the world like you, where guys fly you out, those guys are capable of having many women. Men in general are more faithful now than ever. I know. But you got to understand the type of guys that you're around. But the guys that want to have the guys that want to have a wife and want to have children, right? Those guys are very faithful, and they take being married and having children, and they take it serious, right? The guys that you're around, these, the guys that you do your content with, and the guys that fly you out, they're not husband father material. They're not. They're not. They're assholes.
Very much so. Cold-hearted. Yeah, have no sense. There's no, you look in their eyes and there's nothing back there.
No, it's just nothing. Now, but I like you as a person very much, and I want to see you. I really, truly do, and I want to see you be happy. And marriage is not easy. I'm married, and it's so there are times I want to kill her, and I'm sure there are times she wants to kill me, right? But you work it out, and
don't just give up.
Yeah, you can't. It's those vows are there for a reason, till death do you part. Right.
And sickness and health. Yeah.
That's it. They're there for a reason. And a lot of times people say, well, I don't love him anymore. I don't love her anymore. But that has nothing to do with marriage. Marriage is the best institute for raising children. That's why it was designed.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make decisions on emotions are so erratic. One day you could love me today, and the next day you could hate me, right? And then they're so erratic. And then what happens is, in the long run, the kids pay the price. And so once you have kids, child of divorce, I agree. There you go. Once you have kids, everything should be on the kids. And I have friends at work. I have plenty of friends at work that, I'm like, what are you guys doing this week? So-and-so has a basketball game. I have to, the guy I do the bodybuilding show, Jason Owens, he's at him and his wife are at every one of their kids. He has 2 girls. They play soccer. Every one of their practices, games, they're so involved with their kids, and they work as a family unit. And unfortunately, it's kind of lost in the country now, and it's sad. I think it's 40% of kids are married out of wedlock, and there's 50% divorce rate. It's, and some communities, every communities are a little different, right? Like some communities are worse than others. Like in the Black community, I think it's 80% of kids are born out of wedlock. But if you go to an Asian community, it's next to nothing, because they still hold those traditional values. Veronica, I am going to let you go, but actually don't go. But I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you coming on, and how much I appreciate this conversation. I think it was very, very very informative, and a lot went on. I might put this on the other one. I might put this on the Outcast channel, because this is pretty informative.
Yeah, no, it was a good conversation.
All right. Until next time, remember, like, subscribe, share, and go to Veronica V Instagram, Veronica V OnlyFans, Veronica V. Veronica V67 Instagram, Veronica V67 OnlyFans, Veronica V67 many vids.